All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring, the house of David, the elect, that's pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit of the Rakakwadash. I want to jump right into this article here. This is from yahoonews.com. In the headline, it reads, in Cuba, power plant failure causes nationwide blackout as money runs out. Okay, so what we see here is pretty much a foreshadowing in the spirit of what America is about to go through. All right, as we saw here, dealing with Venezuela, hyperinflation in Venezuela caused a complete collapse of the economy. Their money is worthless, you see? So let's get into that real quick, all right?
The streets of Havana plunged into darkness. Residents in Cuba have been using flashlights to get around and say they are exhausted.
It's too hard, too hard. There are more and more blackouts.
After the failure of one of Cuba's major power plants, the national electricity grid shut down, triggering a blackout across the entire country.
At 11 Friday morning, the Antonio Guterres thermoelectric plant, which was generating approximately 210 megawatts at that time, went offline. We are reviewing the reasons for this shutdown. We currently don't have the cause, but when the unit went offline, the system collapsed.
The system collapsed, you see? And it's all going to come here eventually, all right? These people in Cuba are going through it. Millions of Cubans still without power as crisis deepens, all right?
Residents have been dealing with rolling blackouts for months, which the Prime Minister has blamed on declining infrastructure, a lack of fuel, and growing demand among Cubans. Electricity shortages had already led officials to suspend non-vital government services earlier on Friday, a move which unsettled residents and tourists.
Now we are without internet too. And we went to a restaurant and there was no food because there was no power. We arrived yesterday. In 2 days, we've already had several inconveniences.
On social media, the Cuban president insisted he was doing all he could to get the power system up and running.
We are devoting absolute priority to addressing and solving this highly sensitive energy contingency. There will be no rest until its restoration.
The blackout comes as another knock for residents on the communist-run island, who were already facing shortages of basic supplies, including food, water, fuel, and medicine.
Man, so you're talking about a time like no other, man. Okay, a nationwide blackout as money runs out, and the scriptures talk about that too in the book of Ezekiel. Let's get that real quick, because these are the same things that are being discussed. Dealing with America. The EMP attacks, cyber attacks, blackouts, the eventual crash of this economy. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 18, and it reads. It says, they shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them. And shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. Right, because it's going to be a time of a calamity, man. And people are going to be in total grief, sorrows. Verse 19 a point, it says, Ezekiel 7 and 19, it says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. It says their silver and their gold should not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, just like we saw in Venezuela. All right. They were just tossing the money. They were just tossing the money in the streets. The money is worthless now. So this is spiritual, man, and it's all coming here. All right. Ezekiel 7 and 19, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. That's the money. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity, man. So these people are about to catch pure hell soon to come. Okay, right here in Babylon. As you see what's going on in Venezuela and also Cuba, all right? They ran out of money in both countries, all right? And this is going to be a worldwide thing eventually. That's why all roads lead to the MOTB, okay? All countries are on board of implementing this digital currency system, as we see. So just adding on, all right? This is from Bazinga.com. And it says, market mega bubble set to pop, says top economist who called 2008 crash, right? So, we all know that eventually this current economic system is going to crash and burn, all right? They're already doing away with the money. You got certain banks closing down, all right? Certain retail stores and whatnot no longer accepting cash. So all of these things are bringing forth that preparation for that MOTB system. All right. But just reading the key points here. Okay, it's not letting me pull it up. All right. But the headline here is enough. All right. We know that eventual crash is gonna burst. The economy is gonna pop, as it says. All right, the market mega bubble set to pop. Let's get that too. All right, Isaiah 30 in verse 12, and this is in the NLT. It says, "This is the reply of the Holy One of Israel, because you despise what I tell you, and trust instead in oppression and lies." And you see, the mindset of Jake right now. Jake, whole spirit and energy is tied into this election. All right, everybody is on edge, for this coming election in the next 2 weeks. Like I said before, everything is falling upon the shoulders of Kamala and Trump, as if they're really going to bring America back, as if they're going to restore the economy and make things better for you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and Hispanics. It's not going to happen. And this is what the Lord said, because you trust in oppression and lies. Verse 13, the point, Isaiah 30 and 13, it says, "Calamity will come upon you suddenly, like a bulging wall that bursts and falls, and in an instant it will collapse and come crashing down." Right? So this is what's getting ready to happen. Okay? Esau's top economists, all right, these investors, these people who watch over the economy, they see what's about to happen. All right? And this thing is going to come upon them suddenly. It's going to crash, just like you saw here in Venezuela and Cuba. All right? They're without power. The money is running out. The money, the currency is basically useless. All right? These things are prepared to come here. All right? Thus saith the prophecies, thus saith the Lord. All right? So that crash is coming. And I want to play this clip here, because in this video here, it proves that the U.S. dollar is done.
In 1933, the government got themselves into trouble and they owed a lot of gold. And so what'd they do? Article 6102, they declared a bank holiday. All the banks shut down for a week. No one could get their money out of the bank. When the banks opened back up, gold's illegal. You're not allowed to own it, and you can't get your gold out of the bank. Don't worry, though. We're going to give you your $20 per ounce. Here you go. These debt instruments. We're going to give them to you, but they're not redeemable for gold anymore. And by the way, it's not $20 per ounce anymore. Now it's $35 per ounce. So you just lost 60% of your wealth instantly.
Oh my God.
So and this shows you, like it tells us in James, the 5th chapter, when the scriptures say that your riches are corrupted. Let's get that real quick. That's how you know that the dollar bill is out of there. All right, this is James chapter 5 and verse 1, and it reads, it says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." All right, so the Lord is addressing pretty much the wicked elite. All right, the bankers, those that control the world, the money, the resources. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." Verse 2, "Your riches are corrupted." All right, this is what he was talking about, dealing with the gold standard. Okay, it says your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten, right? Because pretty much the dollar bill, the U.S. dollar doesn't hold any more value. It's not backed by gold. You see? And as they created, these devils created the what was it called? The Federal Reserve. And that was pretty much created to get over on the people, man, to keep you in to keep you in debt slavery, basically, man. All right. They just print more money out of thin air. And this is why you see all of this hyperinflation and things are getting more expensive. And eventually, as we saw, right, that market mega bubble is set to pop. You know, so everybody sees it coming. You know, it says James 5:2, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth eaten. Right. It says verse 5, your gold and silver is cankered. Right. See, the money is trash. All right. It doesn't have any value. It says your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and you shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. So this is it. All right. This is it for this current economic system. All right. Eventually, it's gonna pop and it's gonna crash. All right. This is what we're waiting on because they have to implement that the MOTB system. All right, so this thing is very close, as we saw what was happening in these two countries, Venezuela and Cuba. All right, money is completely worthless. They're running out of cash. All right, these things are coming. Right? Let's start it again.
In 1933, the government got themselves into trouble and they owed a lot of gold. And so what'd they do? Article 6102, they declared a bank holiday. All the banks shut down for a week. No one could get their money out of the bank. When the banks opened back up, gold's illegal. You're not allowed to own it, and you can't get your gold out of the bank. Don't worry, though. We're going to give you your $20 per ounce. Here you go. These debt instruments. We're going to give them to you, but they're not redeemable for gold anymore. And by the way, it's not $20 per ounce anymore. Now it's $35 per ounce. So you just lost 60% of your wealth instantly.
Oh my God.
So we know that we can't trust them because they fail over and over and over. Then now gold is $35 per ounce. So that continued on to the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. By we get to the 50s and the 60s, all these nations around the world are like, wait a minute, what is going on? You're printing way too many dollars. We don't want these paper certificates. We want the gold. So they start collecting their gold from the U.S. France sends their warships over to the U.S. to collect the gold. And President Richard Nixon in 1971 said, nope, we default on our obligations. We will not pay out the gold. The gold window is closed and the dollar is no longer pegged to gold. Now, this was a really big deal because in 1944, under what's called the Bretton Woods Agreement, the entire world agreed collectively that the dollar would be pegged to gold and all the currencies would be pegged to the dollar. But the U.S. lied the whole time. They printed too many dollars. And when that severed, not did just dollar get disconnected from gold, all currencies did. So we're 52 years or now 53 years into this fiat money experiment that the world has never seen before.
Man, so you see this thing is getting ready to crash. All right. You're talking about fake wages with no value, man. You know, it said that, just like he said, the U.S. lied. All right, so we see these nations pulling away from the dollar bill. All right, everybody's on board with the digital system, the digital currency system. All right, so basically, like we said, the writing is on the wall, man. All right, a time, the scriptures talk about a time like no other, like no other, man. Okay, this place is in crazy amount of debt. You're talking about trillions of dollars worth of debt that can't be paid off. Pursuing the Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter 2. Let's get that. You know, this thing is gonna get wild, man. All right, this is Habakkuk chapter 2, and verse 6, and it reads, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. That thick clay is going back to the debt. All right, the $200 trillion debt that this country is in, which cannot be paid off. So eventually, it's all been set up. As we know, the system was set up to pretty much crash. All right. So all of these things that we see that's going on right now. All right. Once again, Venezuela and what's going on in Cuba is getting ready to come to America, man, without a shadow of a doubt, man. All right, times are going to be very, very brutal. You know, I just want to go back. You know, that's why the scriptures say back in this chapter here, it says back in Ezekiel 7:12, it says, the time has come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. Verse 13, for the seller should not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. So look, we're approaching that time where, once again, buying and selling is going to have a whole nother meaning, man. All right. So it's right there. All right. We're very close to this transitioning happening. You know, it's not letting me put an article up, but it's all good. All right. So we're very close, man. You know, so I pray that this quick lesson, you know, was informative and also edifying. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.